Welcome to Engineering Influence, a podcast from the American Council of Engineering Companies. Today we are doing a dive into one of the projects that we're going to be honoring this year at our Engineering Excellence Awards program. And it's a project from Stantec called the Bridging Kentucky Program. And look, when you dive into this a little bit more, it's a little interesting because it's not just one project, but it is a bunch of projects. And when we talk about infrastructure investment and replacing structurally deficient bridges, this is really a project that's a standout. And you'll hear soon why it's going to be honored at the awards program. And I'm very pleased to be joined by Wendy Harper with Stantec to talk about this project. And Wendy, if you could introduce yourself to the audience and kind of what you do at Stantec, and let's go into this project because it's really something significant for not only the state of Kentucky, but I think for a lot of states around the country to look at maybe as a model to deal with. I mean, as a Pennsylvanian myself, our state is known as a state full of structurally deficient bridges. So this is something that might be a new model for the country.
Yeah, sure. I am a practice leader for structures in the Lexington, Kentucky office, and I lead the bridge team here in the Lexington office. And the Bridging Kentucky program really started just, the cabinet was seeing that that the number of structures that needed repair was just increasing faster than funding could keep up, that needed smaller rural bridges in Kentucky that needed rehabilitated.
No, I was going to say about 369 bridges, I think, in the program.
We did. Well, this program started with screening over 1,200 bridges in the state. And ultimately, the first thing we did was look at the ones that we, through that screening process, could see were most critical, that we had an easy rehabilitation that we could move quickly into design. And really this program, the programmatic approach of the program allowed us to move from that screening process through to construction in 18 months, which compared to the typical 4 years required under the normal design build project.
That's amazing. That's a really short time, and a lot of these bridges aren't. You do have some large bridges that are that cross major spans, but a lot of these are your smaller bridges that go over more of a not rural routes, but neighborhood routes or surface roads that have to be bridged with creeks or what have you. But they're critical to communities because if they go out, you completely break the ability for people to move around communities. What was kind of the breakdown?
It was the only, a lot of those were the only access to that small road or a single home.
Yeah.
When those, a lot of them were maybe open, but were weight restricted so that school buses couldn't cross or emergency vehicles couldn't cross.
So, one of the things that kind of echoes what you just said, and it kind of is a mantra with the firm when it comes to design with communities in mind. How did that ethos that kind of play into the evaluation of the bridges and how the project was going to be implemented?
Well, we were able to focus on these bridges that allowed residents to reconnect with services, as I mentioned, and with their communities. One of the amazing things that came out of this program was, in July of 2022, Eastern Kentucky had some devastating flooding. And the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet had this program in place and had this team in place with engineers that have been working together for 4 years on Kentucky bridges. And so they were able to immediately call us into action. And, we had people in the field as soon as water receded, within 24 hours of the cabinet calling us. And we could start immediately working with contractors and getting materials ordered to get those temporary access back in place. And this team had 25 of the 32 emergency bridges replaced within 5 months, which was just an amazing feat for this team.
Wendy, one of the things that, when you're looking at so many bridges and dealing with so many projects within this program, you you did mention some innovations in the way that you kind of the procedures that you put into to addressing this project. Can you go a little bit more into how the firm approached this?
Yeah, sure. So with that screening process that we used, we were able to identify projects that were geographically close together so that we could bundle them into under one construction contract. And that really helped through the whole process because the field staff was able to go out and do multiple site visits at a time. We were able to collaborate with government agencies and do some of the environmental reports on multiple projects. So they were focused on a geography or a certain ecology versus each single bridge having a separate report. And that was really a win-win for us and for the agencies because they had, one report versus, 100 to review. And it also allowed us to bundle multiple bridges to let under one contract. So it maximized the contractor's productivity because, they could move equipment quickly from location to location. And well, just, that bundling and really this process, we were able to reduce the bridge cost by 42%. And we improved in 4 years of the program, 369 bridges in 99 counties of Kentucky.
That really is amazing. And especially the savings. I mean, just the efficiencies that you were able to create. That's truly something, because everybody looks at how are we going to tackle this problem from a national perspective. We have so many bridges that need help. They're either structurally deficient, weight limited, or what have you. And how do you attack something like this so large? And it seems like you kind of cracked the code, at least for Kentucky, that creating a program that you were able to create a process to kind of go through all the potential fixes, do it in such a way where it was geographically advantageous, that you're able to do it from contracting and then reduce the costs and create efficiencies. It seems as though it's a major win for the state of Kentucky.
Yeah, and it's a legacy that'll leave on. We developed a statewide bridge delivery guidance manual that'll still be used on bridges in the future, and we hope that it'll be adopted by other DOTs.
Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly the kind of thing that hopefully is replicated across the states. And if anybody from DOT, that's U.S. DOT, that's listening and watching this program, keep in mind. I mean, this is the stuff that really is exemplified in the awards program that we have, of course, the Engineering Excellence Awards program, because we look at not just the quality and the I guess the technical aspects of the project itself, but the scale and scope and community and social impact. And when you're talking about over 300 bridges that have been improved that connect communities and make sure that mobility continues, this is a massive community and social impact and social value project that really should be showcased. So one bridge in particular, I think the US 60 Spotsville Bridge. Tell us what was unique about that project and how it kind of fit in.
Sure. It was really special to us because it's not typical for bridge engineers to lead the public engagement process. And this one was definitely a welcome exception. It was just a beautiful story about engineers working within their community and understanding their needs. And the community was involved through the entire process. And the existing bridge was definitely a landmark in their community, but they had a sense of pride in that new structure because they were so involved in the development of it.
And how's that going to lead to the new bridge, to more economic opportunities for the community it serves?
This bridge is in Western Kentucky. It takes US 60 over the Green River, and agriculture is really a primary employment opportunity in that area. And the existing structure was only 20 feet wide, and so the farmers who were going across that bridge multiple times a day were not able to pass tractors or combines on the bridge because it just wasn't wide enough. And so that was one of the things that we really identified and talked with the community about what specific equipment that they wanted to have on that bridge. And we were able to have greater horizontal and vertical clearances than standard to allow for those types of equipment. In addition to that, this is also just downstream from a lock and dam. And so as barge traffic was coming out of the lock, when our team was on the ground and kind of watching what was going on there in the existing structure, as the barges were going around the bend, they were kind of swinging out towards the existing piers that were in the water, in the channel. And so with the new structure, we were able to put the piers outside of the water and really improve the safety and efficiency of the barge traffic going through the channel.
Wow. So in the process of design, you're actually able to fix two issues. Not just, I mean, that's an important thing. I think that agriculture, getting crops to market, is essential, and having a bridge that allows it to be done safely is critical. But then also the other safety part of realizing that, you can actually create a safer environment for barge traffic. That's a win-win. That's like two birds, one stone. How many times has that happened in a project?
Yeah. We try to have it as much as possible.
Yeah. So it seems like this was a home run. I mean, from start to finish, from community to the firm. I mean, I imagine this is going to leave an impression with you and your team. I mean, how did this how's this kind of looked at by the team over at Stantec on getting this done?
It really heightened our awareness of our role in the community and the role that engineers play and what improving infrastructure does for the community. And this one, the community was so engaged here. They had their own Facebook page. And so that they were posting, as construction was taking place through, day by day and adding commentary. And one of the most heartwarming stories of this is that a Spotsville native named Irma Day was actually one of two children chosen when the original bridge opened almost 90 years ago to cut the ribbon. And we were able to bring her back to cut the ribbon when the new bridge opened in August of 2022. So that was really special. Yep. And it was a bit of melancholy, because the bridge is such a big part of that community, but they were so excited to have this new, safer, modern bridge.
Wendy, can you go into a little bit more about the Spotsville Trust and how that played into all this?
Sure. So we used a modernized Warren Trust that was selected. It was for the client's goals, really, to be economical and constructible. But the community also wanted a bridge that looked similar to the existing bridge that was out there. And so the trust used a rigid frame design for lateral loads, so it eliminated the sway bracing, which made it faster to construct, but also helped with the vertical clearance issues that I mentioned earlier. We also eliminated the vertical members, which really gave it a light, airy feeling that the community really liked. And it was constructed, right beside the existing trust. So the community got to watch it being built day by day and see the scale and the difference in the two bridges, which they really enjoyed as well.
It really is a beautiful bridge. I mean, it does have that airy quality, to your point, and it has having that beautiful vertical kind of clearance, and it does really, it fits into the environment extremely well as well. And the fact that some of the images that we'll put up on the screen, and when we finish out the podcast, it kind of shows how it's being put right next to, like you said, the existing bridge. So it really is something. Wendy, this is a congratulations, number one, on the project. I think it's fantastic, and to look forward to having it honored at our Engineering Excellence Awards program in June. Hopefully you'll be there to be great, fantastic. We have a red carpet. I hope you come down the red carpet. We can talk about it a little bit more with the project team, but it's a time to celebrate, especially celebrate excellence in engineering like this. So Wendy Harper, Stantec, thank you so much for being part of the program today.
Thank you for having me.
And again, this has been Engineering Influence, a podcast from the American Council of Engineering Companies, and we'll see you next time.